happening in my life and what's happening around me, you all. We have to be in a position, you all, to minister to the bones. To minister to the bones. To minister, watch this, to the dead things in our own personal lives. We can sit back. There's some dead marriages that we've been a part of. There's some folk, your marriage seems to be dead. You come home, bye. Bye. You don't slap a high five. You don't do nothing. You just walk right by. I work 11 to 7. She works 7 to 11. All we do is walk in and walk out, walk past. No. God is saying, listen, I need you to see that this is something that's dead, but I can resurrect it. Y'all got dead relationships. You are in a situation where I don't talk to her no more. No, she too fat. No, I don't talk to her. No. God said, wait a minute. If you are operating with the Spirit of God in me, I need you to see this situation. I can resurrect it, but you got to be willing to get close enough to it. He says, you all, the next thing I want to move to, watch this, just say this. In order for Jesus to have resurrected Lazarus, he had to be close to him. Now Jesus had the power to speak Lazarus from where he was, and Lazarus would have gotten up. But Jesus is teaching us, he came to where death was. Then he spoke to death, and death came. Sometimes you got to be around the thing that has died. You've got to put yourself around it so that you can speak to it. I don't want to speak to my marriage being dead from somewhere. How can I speak to it if my marriage is dead and I choose not to be around my wife? I cannot have a resurrection in my marriage. If I have to be where my wife is and say, honey, let's pray together, honey. Let's get on our knees, honey. We're going to resurrect this. I cannot be away from the thing and think it's going to resurrect. If he's going to resurrect the dead things in our lives, in our communities, around us, watch this, God has to be close to you. If you've got some things in your life that are dead, things in your life that are not moving, God has to be close to you. He comes close to us so that he can then work in our lives. One of the reasons why we don't feel things or see things changing is because we're so far away from God. And we're still trying to figure out, why isn't this working out for me? Why isn't this happening for me? Ezekiel was in the midst of the things that were destroyed. He was sitting in the midst of it. Third point. If God is going to resurrect the dead things in our lives, point one, he leads. We have to be led by the Spirit. Then we have to sit among the dead in the valley. And then the next thing he says is walk around the valley. Walk around the valley. See, now he says, I went in the valley, then I sat in the valley, now walk around in the valley. He says, watch this in verse 2, he led me back and forth among them, and I saw a great many bones on the floor of the valley, bones that were dry. And he asked me, son of man, he walks him, the King James Version says, he walks me around the bones. He walks me, he makes me walk around the bones. Why? So that I can see how many bones there actually are. A lot of times, you all, we end up staying right in our little area and never seeing the big picture. I see my auntie as a bone. I see my cousin as a bone. But I don't see the rest of my community as bones. So I stayed in my comfort zone. He says, no. Ezekiel, it's not enough for you to sit here. I need you now to walk around so you can see how great an issue this is. So after having sat down in the valley, he made him get up and walk around on the outside of the valley. He says, don't stay in your comfort zone now. Sometimes, you all, we can't see the thing is dead because we're too close up on it. Sometimes we're too far away, but then there are other times we can't see it's dead because we're too close. There are some people, you all, who don't know that the relationship you in is dead. Young people, you holding on to them. Leave my boy free. Leave my girl free. We gonna be together. Us gonna be together. Us gonna make it. I'm telling you that he was just playing. He was just playing. He was just playing when he was talking to your friend. He was just playing. He was just playing. He was just playing. We are holding on. Look, you got some friends, girlfriends that you trying to hold on to because they popular, but they ain't no good. They've been stabbing you in the back since you've been alive. And you're just trying to hold on to it. But you can't see what's jacked up about it because you're too close to it. Sometimes you got to push some stuff back so that you can look at it and say, let me really look at this thing from a spiritual perspective and stop looking at everything in the natural. He says that sometimes we got to back up from the thing so that we can get a true picture of it. He tells him, he says, Ezekiel, no, I need you to get up and walk around the bones. I need you to walk around and see the big picture. You all, but if we don't step back, if we don't let it go, we'll just keep holding on to something that's already dead. But watch this. It does not mean, letting it go doesn't mean God can't resurrect it. Letting it go does not mean that God can't restore it, but sometimes we've got to let it go so that we can see what God wants to do. A lot of times, you all, God wants to work a miracle in our life, but we won't let the stuff go so that He can do it. God wants to bless us. God wants to work a miracle, but you won't let the doggone thing go so that God can bless it. We want to just keep holding on to it because it's comfortable. No, let it go. Let it go. So that God can bless it. Amen. Because we just won't give Him the opportunity to bless us. Watch this. There was nothing left in the place but bones. There was no skin on them. There were no muscles on them. There were no veins on them. Now, watch this. You got to understand. For God to even ask or show Ezekiel this was against Jewish customs. You got to understand that it was against Jewish customs for a Jew to even be around a dead body. Number two, for the bones to have never been buried was against Jewish customs. The Jews did not believe that you don't, when it's dead, you bury it. You don't walk around bones just sitting on top of the sand. But watch this. When God is ready to bless you, He don't have to follow your protocol. God don't have to do it the way you want Him to do it. That's part of the problem, that we're waiting on God to come our way. That ain't God. That ain't God. That ain't God. That was God. You just missed Him because you were waiting for God to come the way He came to your friend, the way He came to your cousin, the way He came to your mama. God may not come that way. He'll have to follow our protocol. God, you got to bless me like this. He says, listen, he shows Ezekiel some things that are totally against his custom. He says, listen, I'm going to show you some bones that's not buried. Totally against your custom. Why? Because He's God. And He can do however He wants to do it. You all, listen, your scholarship may not come the way you think it's going to come. Your money may not get there the way you think it's going to get there. But if you got enough faith, I dare you to walk to the financial aid office one day and say, how much money on my books? Oh, your bill's been paid. How? I don't know. We just looked at the thing and it's just zeroed out. It's just totally zeroed out. Parents are like, hey, I got enough faith for that. It may not come in your protocol. Watch this. You don't have to make $150,000 for God to give you a house. I know that's right. You don't have to make $150,000.